You ever feel like your rent roll has just stopped growing? Like you're not getting new leads coming in, you're not getting new referrals, your rent roll just isn't growing. It feels like you've hit this plateau. Like maybe you're sitting just below 100 properties or just below 250 properties and just nothing is happening and you're just not growing. Well, today I want to share with you 2 reasons why your rent roll might have stopped growing and how to fix it. So let's get started. Hey, it's Ellen from Rent Roll Starter here. Today we're talking about the 2 reasons why your rent roll is not growing and how to fix that problem. Now, before we get started, I've got some good news for you and I've got some not so good news. So the bad news is that whether you've been in business for a month or a year or 15 years, you are always going to have moments like this. You are always going to have moments where it feels like your business has completely hit a plateau and you just can't seem to break through. And that is normal. But the good news is, even though you're always going to have these moments, there are ways to break through that plateau so that you can continue growing. So let's talk about the 2 reasons why your business might not be growing. So the first reason is external factors, and then the second reason is internal factors. Let me talk to you first about external factors though. So external factors are things that are happening outside of your business, happening outside of you. So let me give you some examples. Okay, so an example might be that there is a change in the marketplace. So it could be, demand has gone down for rental properties, and therefore pricing for rental properties declines, therefore you're just not able to lease as quickly, and therefore there aren't as many investors coming into the market because renting out properties is that little bit harder to do. So that's an external factor. It could also be something like Google or Facebook changes its algorithm, and so the way you used to get new business changes because the algorithm has changed and the formula you used to use for getting new leads into your business changes. So these are external factors. They're outside of your control. You can't actually impact those things, but there are things that you can do to prepare for them. So let me talk you through a couple of ideas. So the first thing you can do is stay ahead of your competition. Now, this does not mean constantly be looking at your competition. In fact, I really don't believe that you should be paying too much attention to your competitors. However, you should be focused on continual improvement for your own business and for yourself as a business owner. So regardless of what the market's doing and regardless of what the external factors are, regardless of how great your marketing is performing, always be looking to improve. Because the last thing you want is to become complacent, because once you become complacent, when one of these external factors kicks in, like a change in the algorithm or like a change in the marketplace, or any of these sorts of things, it can impact your business. So you want to be on top of things at all times. You need to always be constantly looking to improve. Now, the next thing you can be doing is understanding the marketing platforms you're using. So staying on top of and understanding how you're using your search engine optimization or your search engine marketing if you are paying for Google ads, or making sure you're staying on top of how to use Facebook to get leads into your business. Now, if you need a guide on how to use Facebook to get leads into your rent roll, you can download my free guide at rentrollstarter.com.au/FB. I'll link it below. You can download that. That takes you through the 7 steps for getting leads through Facebook. But you can be focused on making sure you understand your marketing platforms really well so that you're always on top of the changes, and so that you understand the formula in a way that whether you apply the formula to Facebook or to Google or to Instagram or to LinkedIn or to your letterbox strategy, you can make sure that the formula you follow can be used on any platform. Now, the third tip here is about developing contingency plans. Now, a lot of people would say having a plan about what you're going to do when you fail is a terrible thing to do. And I'm not suggesting that you have a plan about what to do when you fail. But what I am suggesting is that you have a strategy in place around what you're going to do when things change, so that you're always moving forward. And this means things like when your software changes, you're using property management software and something that they do changes and that impacts your business. So you need to have a plan in place around what we're going to do should our software change or become less reliable, and what we're doing to protect ourselves regardless of what could happen in the external part of the marketplace, in terms of what could happen if Facebook changes, what could happen if Google changes, what could happen if our property management software changes, what could happen if legislation changes, so that we're constantly thinking about having a contingency plan in place in case things change. And let's face it, things are going to change. So having a contingency plan in place is vital. My fourth tip is to not take a strong rental market for granted. If you've been in the industry long enough, you know that we ebb and flow in the rental market, just like in the sales market. So when we've got a really strong rental market, be sure to remember that we're likely to have a weaker rental market at some stage. So make sure you're constantly educating your landlords and your tenants no matter what is going on in the marketplace. When you've got a really strong market, that's awesome, and take advantage of that, but make sure that you're throwing in some education with your landlords about what we will be doing when the market corrects itself, because that is what happens. Ups and downs, that's normal, and we know that as professionals in the industry. However, your landlord clients might not always know this. So make sure that you're providing that education no matter what, so that as the market corrects itself, if we have a weaker rental market, to make sure that you've already provided education earlier in the piece with your landlords so that they know what is coming. So there's some strategies you can put into place to help prepare yourself for changes that might be happening externally. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk to you more about factors that are internal factors that impact your business having that plateau. So keep an eye out for the next video as we dive deeper into the internal reasons why your rent roll isn't growing. Now, if you're looking for strategies on how to grow your rent roll further, be sure to download my guide on 5 things you must do to get more landlords. Now, I'll link that in the description below. So be sure to download that, because you want to make sure that you're always staying on top of any of those external factors when it comes to growing your rent roll. I'm Ellen from Rent Roll Starter, and I can't wait to see you in the next video as we dive deeper into the internal factors that are involved with our rent rolls not growing. I'll see you there. Bye for now.